Welcome back. So last night, my lovely wife and we watched another Christmas movie because I haven't tortured myself enough yet, and that was Santa Girl, which is a 2019 film. And I want to say at the start here that, and I've got the cast open. Jennifer Stone, that played Cassie, the main character. She's getting her nursing degree. She's been
Shannon
dealing-
looks up the actors
She's
while
been
we're watching
she's
movies,
been
so-
dealing with people in the emergency room for the last 8 months. She's been dealing with COVID patients. She's already got her first dose of one of the vaccines, I assume Pfizer. And so I will not say anything negative about anything to do with her acting in this movie. I don't think I had anything negative to say about her acting in this movie anyways.
No, she wasn't one of the bad ones.
There is... So it's kind of a standard Christmas movie. They tried to do something a little different.
So we watched this one because the night before, I think, or a couple nights ago, we had seen the little preview for it, and we're like, oh, that sounds really weird. That's kind of different. We'll need to watch that one, but it was too late in the night to watch it, so we came back and watched it just because it sounded like a different premise and an odd one. So that's why we watched it.
It's Santa's Daughter. If you haven't seen it, it's not bad. Watch it. It's
really early on, I was able to guess exactly what would happen. I called it.
So if you want to avoid spoilers, go watch it and come back and watch it.
It's a Christmas movie, so
it's a Christmas movie.
As much as there's spoilers,
the first thing in this,
we figured it out real quick.
The first thing in this is Barry Bostwick as Santa Claus. Not for a second in this movie did I believe he was Santa Claus.
No,
at no
he was
point,
a horrible person.
At no point in this movie. Well, not Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Santa. Horrible.
He was pretty darn close for a while. I even said that. I said, this is back to that horrible Santa from Rudolph. Putting your daughter in an arranged marriage
also doesn't,
where the other father's a horrible, I was going to say human being, but I mean, really.
So my speculation that Kurt Russell was like, I'm not putting on a fat suit. I'm going to be the skinny Santa Claus. Screw you guys and your script. And that's my theory, and I'm not going to hear... I don't care if that's reality or not. It's more fun than what reality probably is. But in this one, Barry Bostwick doesn't look like Santa, doesn't act like Santa.
No, there's nothing about him other than he has white hair.
Anything.
And a white beard. And they give him the weirdest, bright blue contacts that were
odd.
Bizarre.
He is
a jerk.
Really strange, and his daughter is arranged to get married to Jack Frost's kid.
For the family business.
Which is kind of explained, but kind of not.
Barely.
So she wants to go to college, and she got accepted at college. And so he's going to let her go, but she has to take an elf with her.
But she's only allowed to be there till Christmas. So
she's only allowed to get a semester.
To be in university.
They don't even get into what she's taking.
3 months.
What did she take? Math. I don't know what she took.
Oh no, we only ever saw them taking
roll call. Yeah, we never saw what she took.
Class we saw.
There was no, there's a test coming up. There was no anything.
There was, because remember she studied with the other guy and she passed the test.
What did she study?
I don't know, but they studied really hard and she passed.
That was with Sam?
Yeah.
So
because she went and told him she'd passed the test.
She gets to university. And this first guy she meets introduces himself to JR.
So, no, before she even goes there, I said, just watch, she's going to go to university, and she's going to meet this guy, and she's going to fall in love with him, and it's going to end up being the son. And so we're like, okay, yeah, and Shannon's like, oh, that's probably it. That's got to be it. Okay, so we have to figure out who Jack Frost is. And yeah, of course, it's the first guy she meets. First guy she talks to, we're like, that's him, isn't it?
Well, because he introduces himself as JR.
Name. Oh, so it's got to be him. It's got to be him.
Since he doesn't have a name, I was like, well, that's Jack Frost's kid. And so at the beginning...
We figured it out before it even happened.
At the beginking, they kind of portray him as like a decent enough guy.
He turned into an ass.
And then second scene, he all of a sudden was an ass.
He was horrible. And then... oh, look, there's this other cute guy that's really nice. And we're like, oh, okay, so now this is going to create the conflict. Yeah,
but what was weird, too, was that, so she's got Pep, who's this...
annoying elf that has horrible...
The ears.
They looked really fake.
The ears were fake, but the thing is, like...
the acting, not so great.
people didn't react to the fact that somebody had elf ears the way people would actually react to elf ears.
And she even did her hair in ways that would super accentuate. And she had dark hair too, added to it. But it was very highlight how big her ears are. Yeah, and nobody said anything about that.
No. And she acted like she was 10 and nobody seemed to.
And a lot of times when she spoke, the volume was off and it sounded like she was just in like a washroom or at a high school on stage.
There's scenes in this movie.
You can tell that they added that.
There's scenes in this movie. First, you can see the shadow of the boom mic twice that I saw. And then there's a couple of times where, as the actors are talking, you can tell the microphone is getting closer. So as they start talking, they sound like they're in an airport and they're far away. And then it suddenly becomes crystal clear. So clearly the boom mic hasn't got over yet. So that, to me, is direction. That means the director didn't do what they often do, which is take 3 or 4 different shots of the scene and then cut it together. He just went, okay, we're going to do this all in one take, action, and we got it. And it's probably like, well, what about the audio? Oh, we'll fix that in post. And then they didn't.
It is a Christmas movie, which a lot of times Christmas movies, they film really fast.
But there's stuff they could have fixed in post.
The movies they do here, they film them really fast.
They really should have fixed some of that audio in post.
Yeah, some of the sound was really, really bad.
You know, are they in a wind tunnel? Like, why can't we hear anything? And then it's crystal clear.
It was bad, yeah.
And or, you know, we're talking and my voice sounds like I'm at the other end of the block and you sound crystal clear and yet we're supposed to be in the same spot.
There was the one where, why are they yelling at each other?
Yeah.
Hey! And they're right, like, by themselves.
Especially Pep.
Yes.
Pep yells every line. And I think she was instructed. That was
to appear
the director was like, okay, loud means, which it doesn't. It just means aggravating. But, yeah.
You know that from children.
That was interesting because Pep.
Oh, and then there was that scene they were at the party. Remember, the sound was really weird because they're at a party. Yeah. All you could hear was them talking. There wasn't background noise or anything, and the background, it was weird.
The thing that weirded me out was so JR, the
Jack Frost
kid, walks away to get her a drink. But when he brought the drink back, you could tell he was just standing outside of the shot. And so he's like, what are you guys talking about? And I said, you know what they're talking about because you just heard them. So it was really weird because he just sort of like if I step in like this. And I'm like, okay, he totally didn't walk in. He just stepped into the shot. And it was little things like that. And then like, okay, so Santa Claus's kid is magic. They never really explain it. And she uses it for the stupidest reasons imaginable. On the one hand, she's like, my dad needs to treat me like I'm a normal kid. And then she does the bewitched nose.
Yeah.
For ridiculousness.
Finger on the side of the nose like he does in the
And when Santa drops her off at college, he just disappears. And I'm like,
in the middle of the dorm hallway.
Aren't you supposed to, in front of somebody?
Yeah.
Aren't you supposed to be incognito? Why would you do that? Aren't there cameras around colleges to be like,
well, there were certainly
that guy disappeared?
Students right there.
Well, there was the one guy.
Yeah.
The one guy who always dropped his soda.
Yeah.
And then she uses it because she's going to be late for class. And so she just materializes in class. And magically, it's just the one guy looking at her seat when her roll call is given who drops his drink because she's late getting there. But, like, there's weird things. Like, she's at the coffee bar there at in the college. And she asks for hot chocolate with marshmallows, which is not weird. It's not weird to expect a coffee bar to maybe have hot chocolate. And if they have hot chocolate, to be able to put marshmallows on. It's not weird.
They don't always have like marshmallows, but at Christmas they generally have special.
But the barista behind it, she acts like she's an alien.
No, but the barista was dressed all goth, so of course she's gonna be a jerk to the super
It was
chipper.
So weird. I wanted a movie of the goth girl and the guy that she actually ends up with. I wanted a movie of those two together.
He was good. I liked him. He was a good actor.
He was good until Jack Frost said, "Okay, you're going to watch her for me," and then
so Jack Frost,
his dialogue went off into where
the makeup for Jack Frost was horrible. He looked like a zombie.
He looked like Lucifer to me.
Really, he looked terrifying.
He looked like Lucifer out of Supernatural.
Like gray contouring, and crazy
But-
colored contacts.
Towards
But yeah, the makeup
towards-
wasn't always consistent.
towards the
Sometimes
end
he
of the
barely had
movie,
any.
towards the end of the movie, it's just lipstick and his hair's up, and that's it. Everything else
There-
disappeared. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
okay. So he just
Today
goes
he's normal.
towards the end of the movie. Clearly, the actor said, "All right, I'm not sitting in the chair for all the crap. Just put lipstick on me, and we're doing it.
The
I'm
makeup
done."
made him look terrifying.
Which
that
which
was
is okay
so-
for a villain, but it was a little over
It
the
was
top.
super, but I mean, if he's that much of a villain, why is Santa having his daughter?
There's so
marry
much
his
more.
son?
There's so much more
then
they
it
could have done.
really makes Santa appear like a terrible person.
There's so much more they could have done,
Right?
like in the wedding part where they had like the leprechauns and
The
fairies.
leprechaun
and
was crap. It was a guy in a green suit. That does just because you speak in an Irish accent.
he fourth wall breaks too.
It doesn't make you
Straight
a
at the
leprechaun.
camera.
And then the
Like,
other guy
I'm sorry,
comes in.
Mom.
Oh, and a leprechaun. How does he know this guy's a leprechaun? What distinguishes him from an elf? Because they both have pointy ears.
Yep. See, but he was
Is
in
it just
green.
that he wore a
He
green
was in green.
suit. Don't the elves wear green too?
Not leprechaun green.
That's not why.
So-
why is he a leprechaun? I don't.
I be a
was
leprechaun.
weird, yeah.
His accent was terrible
It
too.
was an awful accent. That was so just goofy. Like,
It was.
what?
It was really funny, and yeah. So they're supposed to get married.
Oh,
the
no,
interesting
okay,
thing
before
though
we
is
get to that though, Jack Frost going to
Sam.
Sam and making the deal, which I still don't quite understand the storyline. So
I'm bewildered by that whole thing
paid
too.
him $500 to watch her.
$500 a week.
Was it a week? Well, it was
Yep.
down payment,
$500 a week.
which for him, they already established he didn't have much money. So, but why? So we already knew. I called that one too. I said, okay, so he's getting paid to be around Santa Girl, and then
Cassie.
she's gonna find out and be all
She's gonna
mad
get mad.
because he's getting paid to be her friend, which that's not what happened. But so we knew it was creating the conflict that was going to happen towards the end of the movie because that's how Christmas movies work. But I still don't understand why. Why was he
think-
paying to have
I think
him
it was-
near her? Because he was trying to get his son. They had already established that his son was going to university there to be near her
Right.
to make sure she wouldn't get an attachment to another guy because she was already betrothed to his son. So why is he making sure this other person who Cassie's already shown that she likes him as a friend, like nothing more than that, why is he paying to have her near?
To sabotage
Other
it.
than
Just to sabotage
to
it.
create that conflict
Just to sabotage it. And so that at the end,
that backfired.
during the wedding,
Which of course
they
it
can
would.
say, oh, he violated the contract.
Right, but it didn't make sense.
No,
I understand why they did for the story,
So-
but why would he have paid what's his face? Sam, there you go. Sam to be near Cassie, which he was doing anyways because they were already
Because then
good
he's controlling
friends.
it. Then he's controlling it.
It was just I don't.
And then if he's around being creepy, then Sam will be like, oh, he's making sure I'm doing my job.
It
Making
just
sure
it
he's getting
doesn't
his money
make
worth.
sense for what Jack Frost.
I thought it
trying
was
to
funny
have
too
accomplish.
that Sam was all like, "Pfft, you're Santa Claus's daughter, whatever." Dude, we
Right.
just saw
You already met
Snow
Jack Frost.
created in August by Jack Frost. I think you can suspend your disbelief for her just a little bit.
Right.
And it's just the whole thing was so did Jack Frost
And then-
hack his account? His social media?
They never actually knew that it was from Sam. They just guessed it was Sam because that he was the only
I
one
thought it was
that,
under his account.
No, they never said that. But he was the only one that Cassie had told. So that's why it was assumed that he had done it.
That's weird. That's really weird.
Though there was a lot of weird with this story that was just like, wait. Oh, and then there was the part when she's talking to JR, Jack Frost Jr., and he says, well, I kind of lied to you. My name isn't really JR, that's my nickname. Why would you lie to me? Okay, telling somebody your nickname isn't lying.
No.
That's just not giving your full name. That's like Malachi frequently going by Kai. He wouldn't have to say, I lied to you. My name's really Malachi. No, that's just what you go by.
Right.
And her being like, why would you lie to me? That's not. No, again, we're creating conflict that shouldn't be there.
The interesting thing to me too was that
weird.
So they have this wedding and so
For
JR's
they're like
getting
18 or 19,
married to her.
Probably 19.
She's actually 28. So if you
Right,
watch this movie,
right,
you go,
but
she
in the
looks old.
story.
Because I was thinking that too. I was going, she looks a lot older than she's supposed to be in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked, I'm like, yeah, she was 28 when this movie was made. So
But she's supposed to be like 19.
yeah, it just doesn't work. And the reason I was looking her up too is because and it's still, there's an actress she really, really reminds me of, and I'm not sure who it is. But the smile and just her mannerisms, she reminds me of another actress, and it's driving me nuts. Because I've never seen her in anything. I never watched Wizards of Waverly Place. So I don't know what character she was in that. Apparently she was in that. That's the only thing I can find that's recognizable. But during the wedding, they did a switch on JR. Where all of a sudden he's not a manipulative ass. And all of a sudden it's, I don't want to get married either. Wait,
Right.
what? Why did you do any of this?
He was an odd character. He was not consistent through the movie at all.
Why were you
He'd be
manipulating
nice,
her?
then he'd be a jerk.
Why were you
And
being a jerk to Sam? He's giving you an out. You should be
Right.
pushing them together. You don't
One
want to
of-
be with her either.
One of the storylines that I thought would happen, so a lot of it we were able to figure out what was going to happen before it happened. One of the things that I thought was going to happen that I'm still surprised didn't, I thought JR would kind of turn on his dad because his dad was being a horrible person and saying, no, Dad, I don't want to get married. We don't need to do this or anything. He didn't.
Nope.
He
That's
just,
why the wedding
I'm not
part at
getting
the end
married.
was so weird.
But there wasn't any...
There was no hint that he was going to do that.
He never said
He
anything
just all of a sudden
to his
goes,
dad
oh, I don't want to get
about
married
it.
either.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
It was oddly done and didn't feel like it finished
Well,
that
it's
up.
sort of like
it
how
easily could have, because he could, like with a lot of the stories where you've got the evil parent and
Yeah.
the child's like, I'm not going down that path. I thought that's what was going to happen, but they just kind of left it hanging.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, it's sort of like how he's hanging out with her at college. They show 10 minutes. They go to the bookstore. The funny thing is, they're going to the bookstore, and Pep goes to get her jacket, and then Pep's like, "I looked for you all day, couldn't find you." She went exactly where she told you she was going. You were almost there.
You were all going to the bookstore.
You knew where
together.
she was. How did you not find when she was there? And then she's like, "Well, I spent the whole day with JR." No, you didn't.
At the bookstore?
You were just at the bookstore. You bring out a wad of
showed you
cash like
guys-
you're a drug dealer. You throw, I would assume, $1,000. So she throws one bill down. The guy owes $500 for his books, $498. She puts one bill on the counter and then walks out. Like, does this cover? They go, yep. There's no such thing as a $500 bill unless it's Monopoly money. So it had to have been $1,000. So Sam pocketed $500 out of that exchange. Because I thought, okay, so Sam's going to bring her change or something, because there's no such thing as a $498 bill anyways. So she's owed something. It's just she threw a $498 bill on the counter, and they just took it. But she had this giant wad of cash like a drug dealer, and that never came out again.
No, that was the only
There
part
was-
of the storyline.
I thought, okay,
her
so
dad
somebody's-
giving her this
yeah.
cash, saying it was for emergencies only. That's the only time.
I figured there was going to be this. Maybe somebody'd sucker her, somebody'd see her with
yes,
this wad of
that's
cash.
what I was thinking.
And
She'd be
they'd
tricked,
pull
kinda
her in.
Because it was kind of like Elf or Enchanted,
it
where you
was a
have
female
somebody
elf.
coming
Yeah.
from a different land into the, well, they called it the real world, which, real world? They're in, okay, whatever.
We exist on the ethereal plane.
So we thought there could be something of her getting duped because she was so clueless about a lot
Very
of
naive.
things.
Which all of a sudden disappears.
Right. It would just show up every once in a while like, hey, did you know this phone? And I can message people and I can ask it questions.
And then all of a sudden
Yeah,
she's not naive anymore, and the dialogue completely shifted. It's like they went, all right, so we've done the fish out of water thing. We're done with that now. And then they would
got
just show
that covered.
like 1 month later, but nothing had changed. So like they would show us like time was passing, but the scenes back to back, there was no real sign that anything had changed.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be like, okay, what happened over the last month? Nothing. Happened over this month? Nothing. And then all of a sudden it's wedding day, and you're like, okay, so all right.
And we're getting married.
Because without those interspersing
like,
scenes,
okay.
you would have no idea that kind of time has passed.
Right.
And
Yeah, they'd
Like,
show a
she
piece of
even
paper
kissed
that would say
JR?
how much time.
she never kisses JR in the entire movie.
I don't think so.
She kissed Sam.
Yeah.
But at no point did they establish even a romance with JR. Not really. They hint at it. Where he's like, "You want to be my girlfriend?" She goes, "Okay." And then that's it.
That was the first day.
Yeah, they never...
That was the first day,
They never actually have any sort of physical anything. I mean, I don't even think they hold hands.
No, I don't remember seeing
There's just
like that.
nothing. But now they're getting
married.
married.
Then there was also the weird part of, in the very beginning, whenever she was with Sam, all of a sudden JR would appear and he would
Like he was
act
stalking
like
her.
he was kind of being possessive of her.
Yeah.
But it only happens like twice at the very beginning. And then after that, you see her and Sam hanging out, doing schoolwork, joking. JR's nowhere. So it's like he just had to show that he was possessive a couple times, and then I'm gonna go do my own thing.
And they don't establish
It was
like
weird.
they don't establish that his dad told him to back off, or his dad said, "Oh, I've got Sam paid off.
Right.
Don't worry about it." It's just sort of
He's just not there anymore.
he's not around, and then it's okay.
Where
We need
we're
to get
like,
married.
where did JR go?
Okay, let's get married. And then everybody applauds when she says yes,
Okay.
even though nobody knows them by the looks of things, I guess.
And the whole
And-
wedding party was weird. Who are these people? I mean, they give you kind of a list of, and here's the other
They should have gone into that
legendary
more.
people.
They should have gone into
And
that
the
more.
Fae and the Frost family. And none of the other Frost family looks creepy like Jack Frost.
And the Tooth Fairies.
None of
The
them.
Tooth Fairies, I thought they would have been fun to have some more of in the movie or
Maybe
something
it was
like
just
that.
too expensive to do the Photoshop cutouts of them flying.
Oh, the wings.
Looks
And then
so
you
bad.
see him,
Him flying.
but his feet are like this far off the floor. And it's sort of like, it's more like a ghost in a
Yeah.
bad movie, sort of like the Beetlejuice when they're pretending they're ghosts, they're just
Yeah.
floating. It was
That part looked really bad.
it was just so weird. It was like, okay, we can only afford to bring you 2 inches off the floor, so just real careful and drop.
And then the rest of it's like he's on a skateboard and somebody's down here pushing him.
Yeah, they got him on the dolly.
I think they should have just had him wear the little wings you can get at the dollar store. They should have
Would have
done that,
looked better.
right? I think so.
Because the wings were like, what, attached to his suit jacket? Like, I
Yeah.
don't...
Well, they
it
weren't
didn't-
always there either. 'Cause
No.
they CG'd them in.
It was so
it
that
was
was bizarre,
weird.
but they don't really get into that. They don't get into
No.
the North Pole thing, and then I'm looking
At
at it
all.
and going, okay, so the North Pole's in the Alps because this is a giant castle and these huge mountains full of trees. That's not the North Pole at all.
There's no mountains.
The North Pole is just this Arctic wasteland. It's not, and unlike
Just ice caps.
now in Christmas Chronicles, they explain that. They explain that, hey, this is under protection.
Right.
This is all hidden.
you can't see
They
it.
don't establish that in this movie, that it's hidden. They don't show how she gets to college. We understand that Santa Claus got her there. Why didn't they show us? Well, of course,
His
then
flying
they did.
car.
Oh God.
His flying car.
Oh
remember?
God.
That was really funny looking too. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Again, they took
right,
a
yeah.
picture of a car and cut around it on the computer and just put a scene.
So in Simpsons, when Poochie dies on the way home to his planet, and they just pull him out of the frame, that's how it looks when the car flies. It was. I
So
laughed when
funny.
I saw it because I guess that's why they didn't show her getting to college, because it would have looked that fake.
It was
And
funny.
it just, to me, it felt like at the end of the movie they went, all right, we need a special effect shot to show Santa flying. I don't know, just Photoshop the car in there. That's gonna look really fake. I don't know, just Photoshop it. It's fine. Just do it. It was one of the fakest special effects I've ever seen in a movie.
It was really funny.
It was. Yeah, and I mean, I'm talking. I've seen Lost Skeleton of Cadavra. I've
That
seen
one, yeah, we
Plan
both
9
just
from Outer
laughed at that
Space.
one. It was funny.
I've seen really bad special effects movies. This was, man, and yeah, and then all of a sudden Barry Bostwick has a heart. He's like the Grinch. That all of a sudden there's a heart there, and he's like, I don't want my daughter to get married to somebody she's never met. Yeah. You should have
Yeah.
thought of that at the start of this movie.
Especially when he already knew Jack Frost was a terrible person.
He's a dick.
I mean, he looks like a zombie, and yeah, he's
Talks like
horrible.
Lucifer.
Yeah,
And he's yeah. So right there, you seem like zombie Lucifer. I don't know that I should make a deal with you. That's how I go through life.
you signed a contract. I don't know what kind of weird contract this is.
They don't even
either.
really. So apparently he voided the contract by stalking her at school, which is fine. Stalking teenagers should be a reason to void a contract, but they don't really. They gloss that over too, and then he just sort of wanders off. And I
Well,
waited
again, that's
for a
what
big
I thought there was going to be some
conflict,
tie-up
and
with
there was no
his son.
conflict.
And wasn't there. It was just, and the end.
And
They're not getting married happily ever after.
And then she wants to travel the world, but they don't really. The only time she uses her magic with her nose is if she's late for class, or she wants to put Jack Frost into the cake.
Oh, that was weird too. Just wait, what?
You can use your magic for anything, and you use it to change your clothes. You use it for getting to class and putting Jack Frost's face into cake. You are misusing your magic. You need to lose your magic immediately. You don't. And especially when she's arguing with Sam, like, I am Cassie Claus. That was the perfect moment for her to use magic.
Snow. Or,
she could just touch her nose and have a rose show up in her hand, or a box of chocolates. Anything. She could they established that she can just make things appear and disappear. She could have grabbed him by the arm and done this and probably brought him to the other side of the campus and gone ta-da. And she doesn't. She just sort of stands there and cries. And again, nothing bad about the actress. Great lady, but it was just weird because I thought there's a really easy way for her to prove that she's not lying, and she's not using it. And then he's like, she's not an elf. Then explain the ears. Why? How does anybody look at that girl's ears and say, that's normal? I'm sure there's a reason that she looks like Spock. Like, it just doesn't. As far as I know, the movie didn't definitively prove the existence of Vulcans. So unless somebody was mistaking her for a Vulcan, I don't understand why the pointy ears weren't a giveaway that she was an elf, or the fact that she talked like she was on a sugar high 24/7. Mm-hmm. Because she was. They didn't really get into that either. But that was an elf callback. Yeah. That their meals are just candy.
They just eat sugar.
They just eat pure sugar and candy. But the funny thing is, when she got to college, she didn't do that.
Yeah, she did. There was the one scene where she was in the cafeteria and she had
with
the plate
the lunch.
And the other girl says, your lunch.
And then she says,
don't you like cupcakes?
And then she ate it. And then they cut to the next scene. That would have been something they could have done more with. Mm-hmm. They could have done something more with that. But it's a good movie in that it you can watch it. It takes an hour and a half.
It wasn't as bad as a lot of Christmas movies.
We got through it. Like, that's the thing.
We did figure out who the dead person was. They tell you over and over and over.
The start of the movie, I said, "Oh my God, Mrs. Claus is dead." I was like,
and so we're waiting. Yep. And then they kept
Mrs. Claus is dead.
Since your mom died, or since Mrs. Claus died. Oh my gosh, yeah.
I wanted Santa to start every sentence that way. Yeah, it is a nice day out. Since the wife died, like, I wanted every sentence. Too
bad your mom's not here.
Yeah, this is a nice carve. I mentioned my wife's dead. Like, and then, of course, at the end of it, he gets all horned up because some blonde offers him cookies.
That was really weird. We both actually just looked at each other. What?
Oh, so some blonde comes in. Would you like some cookies? You could stand to gain a pound or two, and he just starts wolfing the cookies down.
He's like inhaling them. That was really weird.
It was like seeing Santa Claus getting all horned up over some blonde.
It was
cookies.
Weird because it was just not necessary. That was all it was. There was nothing more to that. It didn't go anywhere.
We didn't see her again. We didn't see her before that.
Never. It was. It must have been like somebody's wife who really wanted to be in the movie. I know where we can have you.
We need a horned up Santa at the end of this movie. Why? Nobody wants that. Yes, we do. Okay, all right. Well, all right then. Horned up Santa it is.
To prove how hot she is.
And I think that was just an excuse so Cassie and Sam could make out.
No, I think it was so somebody's wife could be in the movie.
And then I think the funny part too at the end is that he tells Sam to get his lips off of her, right? Yeah, don't be making out with her. And then the next sentence is, "Do you want to stay for a few days?"
Oh, that was
Wait, so you're worried about them having a physical relationship, but you're going to let them stay in this mansion alone together with elves who are clueless and kind of morons for days while you're off. It didn't even make sense it was days because he's delivering presents, so that's one day.
Right.
So the fact is multiple days means he's taking Cookie Woman and they're going off to Bahamas or something. And it just, I thought that seems kind of odd. I can't imagine telling the kids, okay, now you guys behave because we're going to leave the house for a few days. So that thing you were just doing that you can do as soon as I leave the room, don't do it because I'm not going to be back for the next 72 hours. Just, yeah, it was odd.
There were a few times watching this movie where we're both just going,
because there's no way that girl wasn't knocked up by the time Santa Claus got back. She's way too naive, and it's a castle full of elves. There's no way there's a condom anywhere in that building. No chance.
Oh, Shannon.
And Sam wouldn't have brought them with him because he was
Definitely.
traveling with Santa Claus, and you don't bring those to travel with Santa because you don't want to be explaining that, end up on the naughty list, and get dumped out of the
They already
super fast car.
established that it was really hard to get off of the naughty list. So
And Santa going through the hallway, and you're naughty, you're naughty, and you're naughty. And I thought, okay, this is weird. This is weird that he's going through the hallway in a dorm telling all the guys they're naughty. I don't know where to start with that, because again, as if you're a guy in a dorm and some old man walks up to you, you're naughty. Okay, he's got to get out of here. He has got, where is security? I don't want him coming within 20 feet of me again, because he just looked me in the eye and said I'm naughty. I don't want him near me. I'm 20 years of age. He's not. He's got to go away. And again, there wasn't really much done with that. It's just played for laughs. And then, okay, we got that scene out of the way. We're never going to revisit that
we got
again.
that covered.
It was really weird, but it was entertaining. So there you go. Our last Christmas movie review of the holidays. Enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy your holiday. And I watched a lot of Christmas movies. So next time out, when somebody says, wow, Shannon made Yvonne sit through what? Remember, I did sit through a lot of Christmas movies. So we'll be watching Ash vs. Evil Dead starting on Boxing Day.
No, see, now we get to watch the movies that I pick. Yes.
Hey, but you would have picked these movies anyways, eventually.
That's not how
Well,
it
if you want to
works.
pick random horror movies, we can do it that way too. That works for me too. And then halfway through I can go, I didn't pick this, so that guy getting his eyeballs popped out with a pickaxe, I didn't pick this movie, so that was on you. So that's not in a Santa Claus movie either. That's not, at least not any of the ones we watched this time around. But hey, it was fun. So I can't rate Santa Claus Christmas movies because they're all kind of the same. But this one was enjoyable.
No, they're not all the same.
They're pretty close.
There's the really fun ones that everybody knows. Then there's the ones that we watched, and then there's the really bad ones that are not watchable and you have to turn
Perfect
it
Christmas
off.
list.
That one was terrible. I watched a few upstairs that you didn't watch with me as well, that I've turned off because this is bad.
But anyways.
How many people are dead?
So Santa Girl wasn't too
Oh,
bad.
she has cancer. Oh, this movie's gonna be crap.
So you don't watch the Sophie's Choice version of Christmas movies.
There's a bunch
That's the
of
bad
them.
idea. It's the bad idea right there.
Christmas movies aren't supposed to make you cry.
They are absolutely made to make you cry.
There's
That's-
a bunch of them.
They're made for that because they're sentimental and they're all touchy
He
feely.
only has 6 months to live.
The doctor was wrong. It's a Christmas miracle. Oh, it's 6 weeks. Damn it. Never mind.
Shannon,
I'm just.
that's not how.
What if he's a jerk and it's 6 weeks instead of 6 months?
Shannon.
So the crusty
Anyways,
old
no.
prospector drops off, and they're like, "Yay! Ding
No.
dong, the witch is dead."
Okay. No. Anyways,
All right.
moving on.
Thanks, guys, for watching. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a North Stars hat, it's because this is the time of the Christmas star, which is the North Star. So sure, Polaris was the Christmas star. They're like, hey, looks Polaris.
Okay.
And then they follow it, and then the wise men come upon Santa Claus.
Okay.
And
Anyways, we need to end this video.
when toys
Shannon
were
keeps
born.
going.
Toys are invented.
Okay.
Thanks
anyways,
to the Christmas
the end.
star. And scene. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through and you've made it this far through this video. And hey, we'll talk to you again soon.